You're listening to CATtales.
Hi, you're listening to CATtales and I'm Cat. We're rocking the COVID-19 lockdown with a fresh series of interviews, and where better to start than with the mighty Motorhead. Following the end of the band in 2015, guitarist Phil Campbell didn't have to look far when assembling a new band of brothers to perform with. After 30 years making mayhem with Lemmy, Kilminster and Mikkey, he enlisted his very own offspring to form Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons. An album, award nominations and a solo album later, Phil isn't ready to give up his guitar just yet, even if the world is in the grips of a pandemic. This is the one with Phil Campbell.
Hello, Phil, and welcome to the show. It's so good to be able to speak to you again.
Hello, Kat. Yeah, nice to talk to you again. It's been a little while.
It has been a little while. I think we actually met back in, it must be about 4 or 5 years ago, at Treco Bay.
Right,
It's
yeah.
a bit far in the past now, isn't it? But how are you doing anyway since then?
Great. Well, it's with the situation now, like everything's on hold, obviously. But everyone's had to cancel a lot of stuff. We had festivals booked, and we've had to put back some shows, just like everyone else. But you got to get it right. You got to be safe, because the thing that's going around is pretty unrelenting. So.
Oh, I know. It's sort of decimated everybody's plans, hasn't it? And it's so frustrating when you're putting a lot of time, effort, and planning into something like a tour. Have you postponed the dates?
Yeah, well, at the moment, the festivals, it all depends on the individual promoters, but personally, I won't be doing any shows until I'm really comfortable that we're all going to be safe, me and my band and everything.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, this has come out of the blue, really, but I suppose on the other hand, it's given people time to think about where they are and what they're doing, make other plans. How have you been filling the days in lockdown?
Just trying to write some songs and everything, and, just playing some board games and reading, and, it's not as if I'm out every day anyway. When we're not in lockdown, I don't have to go into do anything 9 to 5.
No, absolutely. That's the benefit, isn't it, of doing
I go
what
down
you
the studio when I feel like it. But luckily we did it for the new Bastard Sons album. Luckily we wrote a big chunk of that and started recording it before any lockdowns. So that's well underway now. So our project is to get that out probably by sometime this year. It's been about 3 years since the last album, I think. So, a lot of people are waiting for it. So we'll try and make a good job of that.
Well, that's really good. I mean, you obviously the band features yourself and your 3 sons, which is so convenient after Motorhead disbanded. How was that for you? Was that a real big transition? Was it a difficult one, or was it an exciting time to be able to play with your family?
Well, we had the band for 2 or 3 years before Motorhead finished. Anyway, we were just basically doing a lot of shows, doing cover songs. So, and I've been playing music with my kids for years. But then, when Motorhead sadly finished, they had time to think about it. And luckily, my family helped pull me through everything. They said, "Oh, let's go out and do a few shows." And so we did a few, and then we changed the name from Phil Campbell's All-Star Band to Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons, which it wasn't my idea to call it that. Actually, it was the rest of the guys in the band. But then we started writing our own material, and things sort of spiraled from there. So it's different. It's a different dynamic. There's different people in the band, and there's nothing like being in Motorhead.
No.
Proud of what we achieved and everything. We're sort of good friends with Mikkey and and the crew and stuff.
Well, 30 years
so
is a long time.
We had a really good run. So good memories, fantastic.
I mean, you're absolutely right there. Motorhead had, in my sort of lifetime, I just feel like Motorhead were always there, and I'm sure a lot of people obviously feel the same because it was always around. Did it feel like the same band, or did it try and, from your perspective, did you feel that time was moving on, or did you feel like it almost made time stand still?
Well, towards the last couple of years, Lem wasn't quite himself, but he just wanted to carry on, you know, you could see Lemmy aging a little bit more because he was a fair amount older than the rest of us. But he was doing fine. He was playing fine. We just carried on. We kind of slowed it down a little bit, but it was still full-on touring compared to what other bands do. For us, slowing down is like full-on for many other bands.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'd still go on tour for 2 months and everywhere and anywhere, wherever they would have us and stuff. But it all got to come to an end, at the end. But Lem played basically like he wanted to do till as long as he possibly could of him, like, you know. But it was
the end.
It was difficult to watch sometimes.
Yeah.
At the very end, but you know.
It's such a difficult thing, isn't it? I mean, you're absolutely right what you're saying there. You're slowing down from Motorhead's perspective is very much the full-on performance of any other band. So that must have been very challenging for all of you.
Yeah, it was because, well, for 30 years it was like my routine basically. You know, traveling on a bus and meeting at airports and sound checks and then having a laugh and doing this and watching TV and all the stuff day after day after day after day, and then just all of a sudden it just stops. It just stopped, you know, with them guys. So there you go.
Yeah, well,
that's great memories. But we made some great music for people to still rock out to. So that's great.
Absolutely, and that's the legacy, isn't it? That sort of, you know, it will always be there, and people are still rocking to it, which is insane, isn't it? Really, you know, from the point of view of your memories, there, what would you say was your favourite one? Something that you could obviously tell me.
It was not as bad as people used to think. But yeah, it was.
I'm sure it was.
Oh, I don't know. Being put on the spot with stuff like this, it just gives me a blank thought. Really, it was just so much fun, and you know, just so many great gigs. You know, the best memories are always coming off stage after a great gig. Which most of our gigs were great. Believe it or not, we very rarely had poor shows, you know, and but just being proud of the band, you know, day after day, that was an achievement in itself. So yeah, that was always good.
Well, why don't we then listen to something from the Bastard Sons? And have you got a favourite that you'd like to play then, Phil?
Play Dark Days.
Dark Days. Now that sounds very appropriate. So let's have a listen, and we'll be right back after this.
Before
Hey everyone, this is Phil Campbell and you're listening to CATtales.
So how did you actually get into music in the first place? Because, most young people, I'm sure, probably aspire to be in a rock band at some point, but you actually fulfilled that dream. How did that happen?
I just auditioned for Motorhead. Well, I played drums first in a cabaret band, semi-professional cabaret band when I was 13. So my career has actually been over 45 years since I've started getting paid from music and everything, you know.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, you just got to stick with it and have a bit of luck. I mean, things have changed a lot now in the music business. You only got to go on a TV, and strip off around a swimming pool and you get famous, kind of thing, you know. But I did it the old way. We used to have to go around when it was dark in towns in my old bands and pin up posters to the lighting poles and all that to say, well, you come in there, you know, and so we wouldn't get caught. It'd have to be after midnight, and you wonder how many of them would still be up.
Yes.
By the time you got to the town, like the old way, we did it, but I wouldn't have that for the world, mind.
Bill Stickers would be prosecuted, and that was you.
Yeah, that was us. Yeah.
Terrific. But there's something good about working your way up from the bottom up, isn't there?
Yeah, and it helps you get so much experience from it all as well, which stands you in good stead for later on than being pushed straight into the big time. You know, I should imagine it's really difficult to handle unless you've got a really good close support system.
Yes.
You know, but people are pushed straight into the big time. They tend to believe whatever people tell them, and people just want to tell them things to keep their jobs a lot of the time. They won't tell you the truth very often.
And that's the music industry for you. Well, quite a lot of the sort of entertainment industry, isn't it? Really, you're up against that. So, do you find that with the Bastard Sons, things are a little bit different now than they were in the good old days that you started out?
It's sort of it's a bit closer to the good old days. I mean, we started off travelling in a nice van, and now we're travelling in a bus, like tour bus and things. But it's a bit more real than the big, the big organisation with 50 people on your books and everything. But it's still rock and roll. It's still a lot of fun. Rock and roll takes many forms. Good music. So I'm really happy doing that. It's a great buzz,
Yes, I'm sure it is. It's not quite the Partridge Family, is it? Let's put it that way. I'm sure you're having a lot more fun than them. Now, I see that you have been nominated for 3 awards with Planet Rock Radio this year. How does that feel?
Well, it's just, it's nice. I mean, I had my first solo album out last October, so 2 of the nominations were for things on the solo album, and one was for the Bastard Sons for live band, British live band. So it was great. And a couple of years ago, for our debut album, we won Debut Album of the Year for Metal Hammer Awards in Germany. So I was really happy and proud for the boys then. So I made sure they had an award each to take home.
Oh.
And it's always nice, it's better than people slagging you off. It's always nice people, stuff like that, I guess. It's at least you're getting noticed and some people are listening to your music at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And it must be lovely to be recognised separate from Motorhead as well, because this is a new era for you and you don't want it to be almost like second best. It's got to be seen in its own right as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's why on my solo album I could have just done 10 songs, all Motorhead, rehashed sort of riffs and everything, but I wanted to do something different, so some of the songs on there are quite a departure from the Motorhead stuff, which was great, and I had brilliant reviews for it as well. I had a bunch of 10 out of 10 ratings and 9 out of 10s all over. I didn't get one bad review for it. They were all really high.
Oh, that's amazing.
I was chuffed with that, yeah.
Absolutely. So that's Old Lion Still Raw that was released last year?
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, I've been listening to it. It's an incredible album, and it actually features some guest vocals that a lot of people will know as well. Alice Cooper's in there, I think, isn't he? So, Rob
There's
Halford.
a few in there. Rob Halford.
Yeah.
I got Mark King's in there from level 42. There's lots of people. There's too many.
Too many to list.
There's about 20 guests on it. Put it that way. Yeah, but they all did great. Fantastic.
That's like having your mates round for a house party, isn't it? And just jamming a bit.
I know.
So what's left for you then, Phil? I mean, you've achieved so much in your career. You've been adored by many people, and your music lives on. You've got awards, etc. What haven't you actually done so far that you would like to have on your bucket list?
Nothing springs to mind really. I just want to keep writing, good music with my band, with the boys, and just take that as far as we can. I'd like to do another solo album, I guess, somewhere down the line, but we'll see whatever offers come in. I'm sure some will sound like brilliant ideas, and some say, "Oh, we ain't going to do that." So there's no major plan at all.
You go with the flow.
At the moment, it's to stay alive for the next few months. That's on my bucket list.
That's exactly. I think it is on everybody's. So,
yeah.
Well, I'm sure you will, Phil. Do not worry about that. And I'm sure the tour will eventually go ahead when all this comes to an end. And I wish you well on that. And I will say to everybody to go and watch you. So, where can they actually find out information about where your new albums and where you actually touring?
Well, I think it's on our Facebook page or whatever, on Twitter. I know November-ish we have a UK and a few tour booked, and a couple of shows in Ireland as well for November. But all being well, that they should be fine. But we'll have to see how it goes. Everything goes,
Yeah, it'll all become clear in the next few weeks, I'm sure. Anyway, all being well.
Yeah.
Thanks,
okay, all the
Phil.
best. Nice talking to you. Okay.
You take care. Stay safe, won't
And
you?
you, love.
I'll speak
Bye.
soon. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to CATtales. To listen again to this and other tales, go to cattales.co.uk.